Now this is Luke chapter 8, and we're going to read from verse 40 through to 48, going over something of what we read yesterday. As Jesus returned, the people welcomed him, for they had been waiting for him. And there came a man named Jairus, and he was an official of the synagogue, and he fell at Jesus' feet and began to implore him to come to his house, for he had an only daughter about 12 years old, and she was dying. But as he went, the crowds were pressing about him. And a woman who had had hemorrhage for 12 years and could not be healed by anyone came up behind him and touched the fringe of his cloak, and immediately her hemorrhage stopped. And Jesus said, "Who's the one who touched me?" And while they were all denying it, Peter said, "Master, the people are crowding and pressing in on you." But Jesus said, "Someone did touch me, for I was aware that power had gone out of me." When the woman saw that she had not escaped notice, she came trembling and fell down before him and declared in the presence of the people the reason why she had touched him and how she had been immediately healed. And he said to her, "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace." Wow. This is such a fantastic story. This woman, she said to herself, if I just touch the hem of his garment. She came up, she touched it, she felt in her body that she'd been made whole, and Jesus knew all about it. This isn't just some kind of a kind of cloud of healing or whatever. This is Jesus. The power is coming from Jesus, and it's Jesus that we come to for our healing, for our deliverance, for our forgiveness, not to religion, not to any kind of spiritualism. It's to Jesus. And this woman knew that if she touched the hem of Jesus' garment, that she would be healed. And she was. And she was. It's amazing that this in the scriptures it said a woman who has this kind of bleeding, she's unclean. And if she touches anybody, they become unclean. But there's such power in Jesus that everyone who touches him, every unclean person like you and me who come and touches Jesus, they become clean. They become clean. She became clean. Jesus' power and his holiness touched this woman. She became clean. She was healed. And then Jesus stops and he says, who touched me? And the woman comes forward. I'm sure she was in fear and trembling. Perhaps she thought to herself, Jesus is going to say to me, the power has gone from Jesus because me as an unclean woman has come and touched him. I've spoilt it for everybody. I've come through and I've done something I shouldn't have. But Jesus says to her, "Daughter," isn't that sweet? "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace." On how we need, whatever our need is, whatever our need is, we need to just come to Jesus and somehow touch the hem of his garment, and he will show us how to do that. And from Jesus, we will receive deliverance and healing and joy and peace in his presence, just as this woman did. Let's emulate him. And no matter how dirty we feel or how bad we feel, his cleansing, it comes, the way it happens is, you may think, well, everything I touch becomes grubby. If you touch Jesus, he doesn't become grubby, but you become clean. Isn't that wonderful?